Hi everybody, this is Bogus Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Neca Ultimate Universal Monsters creature from the Black Lagoon. So before we take a look at the Gill Man, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with a set of relaxed hands. Up next, he comes with his swimming hands. Up next, he comes with another set of hands, and these hands aren't too different from the previous hands. The fingers on these are bent backwards, and the fingers on the previous hands were bent forward. Up next, he comes with another set of open hands, and these are the ones that I prefer to leave on the figure because they're more of like a semi-gripping hand. I just like the way these look the most. These are definitely the ones I'm going to leave displayed on the figure. Up next, you get the standard head sculpt with this figure. Up next, you get the open mouth head sculpt, and this looks very nice. Once I take a closer look at the head sculpt, I'm going to go more in depth to the sculpt and paint on this. But these are painted and sculpted masterfully. Neca did an incredible job on all of these head sculpts. And finally, he comes with this final head sculpt that has an articulated jaw. And I love this head sculpt. I love how it has the articulated mouth on it. That looks very nice. This is probably the one that I'm going to leave displayed on the figure because if I want the mouth closed, I can do that. And if I want it open, I can do that. I honestly think that's the best of both worlds with the head sculpts. So yeah, this looks amazing. So now let's go ahead and take a closer look at this head sculpt. Neca did an insanely good job on this head sculpt. It's cast in dark green and has light green painted over top of it. The eyes are painted very nicely. The gills there have some very nice paint detail on them. I'm just blown away at how this head sculpt looks. And honestly, just the whole figure. A lot of companies, when they make the creature, they make him too bright. Like the lips are way too red, it almost looks like lipstick, and he's a very bright green. But Neca actually got the colors on this right. The creature is more of like a moss green, more of like a muted green color, not a very bright green. So this looks amazing. Neca always does their homework with these Universal Monsters figures, and it shows. It is just sculpted masterfully. All of his scales are sculpted and painted very nicely. Up here you can see the base color of green that he's cast in, and down here you can see that light green paint that you have over top of them, as well as this, it's kind of like a brownish green color on the edges of his scales, and man, that looks so good. The paint detail on this thing is out of this world. You can see his back fins also have some very nice paint detail on them. I could just go on and on about how well this is sculpted. Neca just did such an awesome job on this. And one of the smartest choices Neca made with this figure is he actually has these rubbery coverings over the joint right here. And I feel like it hides the articulation. If you have his arm a little bit up like that, you'd never know this was actually a joint. Because of that, his arms can actually bend all the way in without being hindered by the sculpt there. I am so glad they used these coverings right here because they're very soft and they allow for all the articulation. The knee joints also use that. And that looks really good. When you're moving it, you don't realize that they're these rubber pieces. It just looks very good the way they did that. He also has some phenomenal paint detail on his hands. All of the different colors there on the back and the webbed fingers. That looks really good. You also get a little bit of gray to the tips of his very long claws. And that looks really good. The only complaint that I have is, well, the inside of the hand is painted very nicely. But I feel like the fingers should have had some paint to them. I feel like I remember seeing the creature and he had like touches of orange on the inside of his fingers. But that is really a small complaint because other than that, these hands are painted very nicely, just like the rest of the figure. Even the feet are sculpted very nicely. You get the webbed toes down here, some nice brown paint over top of them, and then some brown paint over top of the toenails, making them look very dirty. That looks really good. And if you look, he even has amazing sculpt detail to the bottoms of his feet. There's literally not an inch of this figure that isn't sculpted wonderfully. So yeah, I am extremely happy with how this turned out. This is probably the best sculpted Universal Monster figure that Neca has done. I honestly don't know if they can top this because it is a really good looking figure. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation. He has a ball jointed head that can only look up just a little bit. The back fin here does get in the way just a little bit, but he can look down just about all the way. He can move his head side to side. He has shoulders that can move all the way out. Double jointed elbows that can bend all the way in. Like I said, these coverings right here don't hinder the articulation at all and look fantastic when you're posing the figure around. He has swiveled wrists that can move side to side and up and down. He has a ball jointed diaphragm and waist that can only bend back just a little bit because of these fins back here. Can crunch forward just a little bit, can move side to side up here and side to side down here very slightly. He has ball jointed hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward that far. He can kick back that far. He has a swivel at the thigh, double jointed knee that can bend back all the way. It uses the same type of coverings as the elbows do. And he has swivel at the ankles that can move down just a little bit, up all the way, and a very nice ankle rocker. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to Dracula. Here he is next to Frankenstein. Here he is next to the Bride of Frankenstein. Here he is next to the Phantom of the Opera. And finally, there he is next to the Invisible Man. I tried to look for the mummy figure. I do have it, but I couldn't find it in time to do size comparisons in this video with. So overall, I would highly, highly, highly recommend picking this up. This is probably the best figure Neca has made so far this year. I don't know if they can top it because it is amazing. It is sculpted beautifully, and the paint on it looks just as nice. Neca really outdid themselves with this one. I feel like I say that with every Universal Monsters figure that I review, but I really mean it this time. They definitely went above and beyond with this particular figure, and is easily the best figure in the Universal Monsters line so far. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.